We're going to have to come up with answers that set politics aside.
Oh,
they don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
Telling them, but they ain't listen.
I'm from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and they don't hear us.
We're gonna bring you some stuff that's gonna make you feel better. They don't hear us.
They don't hear us!
Hey, and shout out to the folks who are covering this coalition, because they don't hear us.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of They Don't Hear Us. I'm Yvette Dennis, your TV host for this afternoon, and today we have
John Weare.
Thank you for joining in with us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Let's start with, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live here in Hopewell, Tennessee. Moved here about 10 years ago. I'm pretty much retired right now, and basically what I like to do is I like to help people. I'm involved with the Hope Center Ministries, being a volunteer there, going in and doing both private and group counseling for some of the people that are struggling with alcohol and drug addictions. I'm a leader at our church with Celebrate Recovery, which is we believe it's a 12-step program, much like AA or NA, but we're Christian-based. We've just recently been able to take that into the local jail there, just last weekend.
Okay.
And I'm involved with the food ministry there. I just believe that. To be an American, we should be involved with each other, trying to uplift each other and to give a helping hand to those people that need a hand up.
So our show is called They Don't Hear Us. And can you tell us the reason why you think that America is not hearing you?
Well, it's not just me, it's a group of people. I'm right now, I'm an American that feels like a non-American.
Okay.
Because not being able to vote, not being able to participate in my government, or being able to help elect officials, makes me feel like a non-American. I served my country in the United States Navy.
You did?
And yes. I'm from that age group that we believe that we had to do service to our country, which isn't the only way you can serve your country. There's many other ways that you can serve people. But after serving my country, I had gotten in trouble. Did my time in prison, and which was about almost 20 years. Yeah. Oh, no, almost 30 years ago. But it was a while. It was a while ago,
right?
And as I'm becoming more involved with the community, as I'm going out and helping people, I want to be able to participate in government. But I'm not the only one that's being disenfranchised right now. There's a lot of people that are being disenfranchised. Blair Bowie, Katie from, I believe it was the legal organization, or
right. It's the campaign for legal.
Yeah, the campaign for legal
aid.
They were the ones that were one of the first lawyers that were willing to help me try to get my voting rights back.
Okay.
I mean, I went to other lawyers and says, hey, I'll pay somebody. I don't know. I don't understand this paperwork. Nobody would take it. And as we were doing some things both in Washington and here, trying to go to the courts to get not only my rights but others' rights back, because if I remember correctly, there's about 430 to 460,000 people that are disenfranchised just in this state. I'm not even talking the country, just in Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
So it's important to me that I not just be about myself. After about 4 years of struggling, I don't mind. Oh, was I supposed to just keep on my background? I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
Okay. No. So at any rate, after about 4 years of trying to get it back and doing all these legal battles, I had finally gotten to the point where I just want to get my voting rights. I don't want. It doesn't have to be trying to do it in a way to get other people's voting rights. And so I went to something I believe it was this March about the right, free the vote. It was called the Free the Vote campaign. And I met Dawn there and Keita, who's my lawyer. But Dawn is with Free Hearts. And it was while we were at that conference that I started to remember who I was. And I remembered it wasn't just about me. There's a lot of people in Free Hearts that are fighting for other people's rights. And some of them already have their voting rights back. They just have a good heart and they want to see other people with their right to vote back. And it kind of awakened me and reminded me who I was. So I've become very involved with that. I've been trying to get other people involved in my hometown. We need other people that really show up and put their voice to this. Because if we don't speak, somebody else is going to speak for us.
That's right.
And it's thanks to you guys here that we actually are now being able to get the message out. And let other people know about the struggle that's going on. It's a real struggle, and we, especially in this time in our country, we need all the people that are voting that we can get. Listen, I think somebody told me, and don't quote me on this, I'm not absolutely sure, I didn't bring anything with me, but I think the voting statistic is like 2% of the people vote.
That's true.
And here you have people that are willing to go to the court systems or everything else to get their voting rights. That tells me those people are going to become voters and become involved in their community. And many of the people I met at that were already involved. There were people there that were about women's rights, that were about women that were being abused, all different types of groups of people trying to come under one voice to be heard. And that's sometimes the hard part. And we sometimes feel that we're not being heard. But all we have to do is, like our forefathers, take another step, take another step, take another step.
Yes. So at the Free Heart March, where was it at? Well,
it was a conference we had here. I know they just recently had something go on in Washington D.C., but I wasn't able to make it up for that. I was joking around because it was something for the women's movement as well. I was going to get a kilt, but I couldn't find my bagpipes.
So, what are the hiccups? What's been the hardest part? So you went to court.
Yes, I've gone to court. One of the first hurdles I had to have is you had to do a bill of restoration or a rights thing, where you had to take it to the state they were at. They couldn't just go by computer. To see if all the things have been paid and all that.
Right.
They wanted you to have a hand filled out copy of every charge you had, individually per copy, and have somebody fill that out, which, especially during the COVID time, you'd be lucky to see somebody on the other piece of the glass, and they're like, "Well, can you pass this paperwork to me?" No, unless it's been sprayed with Lysol or something. But even after that, I mean, they're not, in Arizona, for example, where my sister also had difficulties, but she got her rights restored in Arizona, and I actually didn't know my rights were restored in Arizona until we had gone to one of those class action suits with my lawyer, and I was doing a testimony, and there's like, well, according to this, your rights have been restored.
Wow.
So my rights had been restored in Arizona. I didn't even know it at the time. But the problem is, even though my rights were restored in Arizona, that doesn't make them restored here.
Which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but I can respect a state that wants to. Well, we want to look at you ourselves. I can respect that to a point, but I can respect that. I'm not going to say to a point. But when you make things so difficult and so hard, and it's like, okay, we got past that hurdle. We got this done. We got these depositions done. We've got people testifying as to the kind of person I am today. I had a person that was a chief of police there at Hohenwald write a letter, a commendation. She said, "John, I would not do this for anybody else but you." And I guess I was the first person that ever asked him to write a letter.
But he was willing to do it.
Yes, he was. And I've heard from other people they want to do it, but the latest hurdle happened, I guess it was in July that an order had come down, but in January, the Election Commission decided that in order for you to have your voting rights, you had to have all your rights, which really doesn't make sense. Because first off, why would it be all my rights? If I'm the one to go before court and they say, well, you can have the fiduciary and you can have, because you didn't do anything financial, and you can have your voting rights back. But because there is a weapon involved, we don't want you to have your
able to bear arms.
Yes. Which, you know, they're just trying to protect their citizens here. I understand that. But it made another roadblock. I mean, it was very frustrating.
Yeah,
I was about ready to go to court on it, but that ended up another roadblock. So there was a bill going through the House, House Bill 2380.
2380.
And what that did was separate it so that the courts could decide, which are really the people that should be deciding anyway, not an elections commission necessarily. They're just the kind of the guard dogs at the door, I guess. But it should be the courts that say, well, he's allowed to have his voting rights. I believe, I'm forgetting his name. I am so sorry.
That's okay.
But it was a friend. He actually testified with me over there at the legislature subcommittee, a fellow veteran. And he had actually gone through and gone through the court. They gave him back his right to vote. He went to apply for his right to vote, and they says, no, you have to have all your rights. And he got blocked. Like I said, House Bill 2380 would help clear that up. But when it made it to committee, they had put it in what they call a summer session for them to take a look at it. Well, unless they actually call the summer session, it could die there. Another person that had a bill where they sent it there, they basically, I hate to say the quote, but he said, the summer sessions was where they send bills to die. So, you know, we need to get a letter campaign to the person that's in charge of the summer committee. And I actually tried to get his name. I should be better about taking notes and remembering this. But we're going to try to do a letter writing campaign asking him to bring House Bill 2380 to the floor this summer. One of the things I've been telling people is when you're writing to a person, a congressman or a legislator, if you do a handwritten letter, it counts as if there's 1,000 people there.
Really?
Because they look at handwritten letters as something somebody took time. It isn't something that you can copy and paste. Oh, I got this from the group, and our group is going to send this, and it could be 10 people sending 100 letters. But when it's handwritten,
I got you.
It actually means that was a person. So, and it just, before I had lost my rights, I was with a small business association, and we were trying to do things similar, and just some little things I learned. And it makes sense, because I don't want to be just, all right, some guy's just printing these off by the thousands, you know. You know, but the person that wrote the letter has like, okay, this person's genuine. They took time with pen and paper to write it out.
I'll make sure I get involved with that. I want to help.
That would be awesome. We need, every person counts. Like I said, if one handwritten letter counts as 1,000 votes, you get 10,000 or get 10 people, they're counting that as, well, that person's doing it. There's another 1,000 that feels the same way that just hasn't written it. And I can understand that watching these things like the legislatures is a little bit dry. Unless you've actually been there. I think every classroom should take their kids there just to see how our government works. It can be a little bit dry. But getting involved with our government is the only way we're going to make America a better place. And quite frankly, as long as I don't have the right to vote, I'm going to feel like a non-American. It's not that I'm from another country. It's nothing like that. But if you're living here and you're not, that was the thing that made our country great, was being able to elect her.
To vote. And you serve, right? Did you serve
Yes.
in the military?
I was in the Navy. I was on a fast frigate. It was like a little tin can in the ocean. I don't know if you've ever seen those ships. They don't even make frigates anymore.
Right.
But they have like a spread on the mast, and when you're in rough seas, you could actually see them dip
Yes.
into the ocean on
Right.
each side.
Right.
And when I was young, I used to climb up there. I'd be working on the radar right in the storm, say, "Oh, this is great." Never occurred to me I might fall in the water.
But that's part of being an American, you know, all of you serve your country, right?
Yes.
And how long were you in?
4 years.
And so being a productive citizen, being able to have a right to vote, that is important. And so much stuff can happen. And, you know, just being able to express your concerns, going and voting, and making sure your vote counts. We need all of that. We need all of that.
Yes, and when you give somebody that power to vote and you make them feel like they're part of community, when they get involved in their community, because now you've empowered them and you're not holding them like a second-class citizen, they make better people at the work, they make better neighbors, and it all makes for a better community. So it was like we said in the 60s, power to the people. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So we have your attorney involved. I'm going to get more people out to write letters. I'm going to make sure of that. What else can we do to help? What else can we do?
Well, if you get involved with some of the groups, like Free Hearts, and I wish I had something to put down their number. Of course, if I put down Dawn's number, that she'll get overwhelmed. It's hard enough to get her to answer her phone now. But they do have a website.
Okay.
I believe it's Free Hearts, and it's out of here in Tennessee.
Okay.
If you go to that website, you can list up how you want to help. They actually have a Zoom meeting every Wednesday, generally, and where your voice can be heard. We get together and with different issues. I mean, one of the things that's great about being an American is that me and you can have some things we can agree on. We can have some things we disagree on. But that's what makes America so wonderful.
Right.
That's the way God created us. And without that balance and that different opinion, just think of the world. I wouldn't want the world to be full of all John Wares.
No. I don't know, you kind of...
Yes, but it'd be getting monotonous if there's the same guy saying the same joke. But I mean, you know, you have a wonderful smile, a wonderful laugh. You just brighten up a room when you enter in.
Thank you.
I usually crack mirrors and things, but it's our differences that make it special, and it's our differences in how we look at things. It's just like, you know how they say opposites attract?
Exactly.
When you know this person, well, I don't have much empathy for this person, but the wife might well be very charity minded. We balance each other, and that balance is important. But if you're not allowed to participate, how can there be balance? If that makes sense.
It does, it does. So how did you come meet ROC Square 357 Productions, Mr. Reggie Clay? How did you meet him?
One more time.
Reggie Clay?
Oh, Reggie Clay. Okay, I'm sorry. I just.
I like saying that. ROC Square 357 Productions.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just know him as Reggie, and we actually met at the Free the Vote conference. Yes, we hit it off very well. We have some similar things. We both had some violent times in our past, and we've both been overcomers.
Okay.
He is somebody that likes helping people.
That's right.
Everywhere he'd be like, now this is how we should be treating each other, and he'd be giving examples left and right. I was so nervous coming into the city because I've been so used to being out in the country so long. He actually kind of, come on, John. Well, I'll walk you to the store. But we got to sit and talk for a while, and we both agreed that, you know, when you take, and he liked that. Everybody's got a story. When he first asked me to come over here, I was like, well, I'm not about glorifying myself. I won't be about myself. But Reggie's not about himself either.
No.
He wants to get other stories. He wants other voices to be heard. And he tries to be a good example of what it is to be an American everywhere he goes. You know, he saw the same thing I did there. Individuals, and what made everybody a hero not a superhero. Superheroes thinking about their own image.
Right.
Yes, I'm Captain Marvel.
Right,
You know.
right.
But a hero is somebody that is some of the people that are in our daily lives. The mother that has raising 5 kids on her own without any help, or father for that example.
Right.
Those people that are willing to give up their time and their energy to go before the legislator when working these bills. People like Dawn that is. I wish I had half the energy in the military that she has. I mean, that woman keeps going. I'm sure that you're staying on the move all the time. But by becoming involved and by helping others realize who they are, you're doing a great thing. You're a hero.
Yes.
And I know that out there's a lot of heroes being ready to be coming over and out. And we're looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah. It's been great to talk to you. You have so much good spirit about you. Is there anything else you want to share?
Well, like I said, I was a bit nervous about coming on.
No, you don't have to.
And I'm not really sure.
Or any other organizations you're involved with?
Well, like I said, where I'm working with the Hope Center and working with the addicts, one of the problems we're facing in the country is addiction. It's tearing us apart. And, you know, addicts are not, or alcoholics, you know, are not bad people. They're just broken people. By giving them a hand up and helping them to reestablish themselves, I think is a good thing. One of the things that we focus on in Celebrate Recovery is instead of like opening up, and I'll probably get hate emails from NARA for this, but they're a very, very good organization. They're definitely, they're open to everybody. Where CR is, we're Christian based. But I look at it as everybody as a new creature in Christ. We just happen to have hurts, habits, and hang-ups. I think by putting the word, oh, you're an addict, or you're an alcoholic, or you're a convict, or, you know, those words, when we use them, we label people. And we even label ourselves because we've been taught that, oh, I'm this bad person, you know, and we put that on as a label. We need to free ourselves. What we are is, if you're a Christian, you happen to be a Christian. If you're a Muslim, you're a Muslim. You know, but no matter if you live here and this is your country, you're an American. And that says something about you right there. You need to be able to shake off anything bad that's happened in your past and try to move forward with that. The thing that I like about Celebrate Recovery is that we don't focus on the symptom. We believe that the alcoholism and we believe that you know, the addictions, they're just the symptom of something that's underlying, some hurt that happened to us. That's why when I introduce myself, I usually say, hey, my name's John Weare. I'm a Christian with hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Because we've developed hang-ups as a defense system when we're, you know, in order to, how should I say, to deal with the problems when we were growing up. It's like when you're a kid, you learn, well, gee, if I throw a tantrum, I'll get a candy bar type of a thing. Well, you try throwing a tantrum when you're 60 years old in the store, they're not going to give you a candy bar.
No.
But we have to put away those childish things. And that's one of the things I like about CR that I'm involved in, is it gives people the steps and the tools to become more mature and to move up. The Hope Center Ministries I have now, that's like a program. They use CR as their basis, and it's, instead of it just being 30-day or 60-day, which is really just enough time to detox. They say that about a year is about where you start getting at the level where you've kind of managed to get over it. So they have a year-long program. It's kind of affordable because it's Christian-based. The government won't sponsor it, but if you can get $700 in, that gets you in. And then when you're working, when they have you on the work thing, I can't remember what they call that. you're helping not only to pay your way, but for the person that's coming in behind you. Then the last 2 months are basically your money that you're putting away. So when you leave, you'll have something to get a car or to get an apartment or something. Because you know, when I worked in some of the other ones, and I won't want to mention them by name, where it was just 30-day or 45-day things, they had a revolving door. They'd see them every year. They'd get $8,000 to $10,000 per guy from the government.
Right.
And they had the attitude of like, well, we've already got the money. If you want to leave, go ahead. We'll try to talk to the people and try to keep them there. Because it's not about the money. As a matter of fact, it's an all volunteer-driven thing. It's volunteer. Everybody's a volunteer that works there.
Really?
So you have people that are coming that actually are not there for the money. They're there because they care. So I think, but the statistics, just so I can give it, the average rehab, like the one I worked at, they had an 85% failure, only 10 to 15%, and that was considered high. If you get to 15%, actually became sober. At the Hope Center right now, they're running, I believe, when I last talked to them, 95%. 95% were staying clean.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
Yes. I mean, they first told me that, and I was like, "Are you sure about that?"
That's amazing.
And they yes. And it was started here in Tennessee, I believe. They now have them in England. They have them over Hawaii.
Okay.
I keep asking you to get transferred over that one. But I mean, they have them in England. I think they just opened one in Thailand.
Wow.
So, but it started here in Tennessee. And isn't it interesting that this is the volunteer state?
God has a way of doing things.
He does. He does.
He has a way of doing it.
Well, you know, I thank you so much for coming on and letting me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for giving the information we need to help, because that's what we're about. They don't hear us. We are involved in the community. We want people to know that we're involved. So I'm going to pass information on. We're going to share it, and we're just going to make it happen. We are going to make it happen. You have another one on your team.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, we need everybody, and I very much appreciate the opportunity to come over here. I have to admit, I was telling Reggie all the way up here, I'm so nervous. I don't know if I'll be able to get in front of the camera.
I'd like to thank you for joining in with us and sharing your story. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you again for having me here.
So this is going to conclude another episode of They Don't Hear Us, and we appreciate your support. Thanks. You did wonderful. It's still going.
We had about 1 minute and 14 seconds left.
Oh.
But
Can you do your wrap up into your camera, and we'll just edit that part?
Okay. Oh, I see it.
no, yours is over here though. This one.
It's the light on right here.
Oh, but the light's on there for 2. But that's
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you for joining in with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. Oh, stop.